Hey there, crafty peeps, it's Rhonda from Rhonda World 365. I'm back with another video, as promised, with one of the projects that I had been working on last year. So I'm going to get right down to it. It is a journal that I made for my mother right around Mother's Day last year. I wanted something happy and bright and pretty, just something that she'd really want to take out and journal. Now, of course, she hasn't just yet. Mostly she's had it on display, and I think she might have been a little bit waiting for me to do this video so that, of course, I don't share all her private thoughts. But anyway, so I did choose this paper because it is so bright, so cheerful, so happy. It makes me think of her. It's got the gold running through it with the flowers and the butterfly motif. You're going to see that throughout this book. Also a little bit of birds and things like that. Seam binding for the closure. And then this book is going to kind of illustrate this theme too. You don't have to be perfect to be amazing. So it's all Mod Podged, and then you're going to see these gold trims running through, and I wanted the seam or the spine with its gold thread stitching to kind of really look to like it's a bound book, like it's a bound treasure. And what I had done is I needed something. There were some imperfections that I didn't like, but I wanted certain things in certain areas. So what I did was I covered it with this gold washi tape and then Mod Podged over it, and that's how I got that effect. The back of the book has these two butterflies on them, and of course the paper is Mod Podged to seal it. So the front of the book, and I used like I said, the two tones of the dyed seam binding, and I think it made it pop. It made a really good, really nice pop. So I'm going to undo this, the closure. And that is sewn to the book, so it doesn't just fall away. It's only sewn in the one spot, so it doesn't cause havoc. And if she wanted to, she can always use this to drape through the page for a bookmark. On the first page here, you're going to see on the covers, I've gone over it with this kind of, I'm going to pull these guys out. It's kind of a very light patterned paper, almost like a wallpapering, but I love the light blue flowers. I loved the effect that this paper gave it. It looks very bright, open, happy. There's butterflies, like I said, throughout. So there's a little butterfly stuck in here. And this is a secondary pocket, should you want to use that for like maybe a picture or anything really. Nice big pocket all the way down. And so here, what we've got is journaling cards. Well, this one's a journaling card. It says Treasured Memories, and then on the back, it's actually got a postcard stamped on it. And then this one is dyed paper, and I've Mod Podged these birds onto it from a napkin. And I think they came out pretty well. It just kind of gave the paper a little bit more pop. It is the lined paper, which isn't really conveying that well through this video, but I just wanted to add a lot of journaling space in here so that she could just go to town with thoughts, ideas, whatever strikes her fancy. This first signature, and there are two signatures. I can't remember exactly how many pages. I think I wanted to say that I tried 10 pages folded in half in each signature, somewhere about there. I'll count them up later. Anyway, so we start off with this altered paper clip. That's what that is, for a tuck spot on this front page. The front page is like a wood grain with this gold running through it. It comes out really pretty for the signature. Again, this one says laugh and that one does too, so that's kind of why I paired them up. And it is a journaling card with a butterfly stamped on the back. I did a lot of this for her book with the open, but maybe just little stamps or little embellishments here and there. She likes embellishments. She's very encouraging about my books with all their embellishments. But, so I had to add them throughout here, but I did want to also make sure that I included enough room for just whatever else she wants to put in. Tag, and the tag at the bottom has that little crown stamped onto it. And I tried to use a lot of two-tone pattern or two-sided pattern paper so that her book has a lot of color. On the back of or on this page, it was a plain white page, and normally on the plain white pages I like to decorate. So I would normally add tuck spots and what have you, but for the sake of adding journaling space, this is another napkin Mod Podged onto here. And I did use a matte Mod Podge, and if you try to use a matte Mod Podge, most of the time you can write on them. So you can write on some of this area. Over here, regular page, dive into your dreams. There's going to be a positive, you're going to see positives throughout this book for the stamping and stuff like that. And also, if you see in here, there is some washi tape on the seams of all of these. What I've done is I reinforce my paper with washi tape so that when I sew through them, that's what you see. Some grid paper here, or what do you call that? Accounting paper. And the little crown there. Now this journaling card is actually made from an old birthday card. And so what I did was I cut that picture out the way I wanted it, stamped it, inked around the edges, and then it became a journaling card. Another paper clip here, pattern paper, flip it open. And then that's the embellished paper clip side. And then I've added, and I sewed the top of this. It's a paper pack, and I think there's just 3 sheets here. But I really liked that butterfly at the bottom, so I sewed it together to make her a nice big journaling paper pad. Another sheet, and I did, she really loves these corner adornments and things like that, so I mean you'll see a lot of this throughout there, but I believe that's a Martha Stewart punch, or if it's not, it's a Recollections punch, but I'm pretty sure it's Martha Stewart. Anyway, so edge punching. Oh boy, and I've messed up the way I had it in there. Oh well. This was pattern paper, just plain, and I did Mod Podge a little bit of a napkin onto it just to give it a little extra. And then this side here has a fold out. And whoops, I see we're off camera, so I'll come on over here. Okay, so this side here has a fold out. And so it's just extra journaling space. But this is also part of a birthday card. I did a lot of that, birthday cards that we've had and stuff like that. And then I added some pattern paper here because it covers up certain things that I didn't really want seen on there, and it makes for the ability to write on this space. And then when you open it up, pattern paper, or not pattern paper, grid paper covers the back. And I sewed around here. And this is how I, attached this particular side, because it gives it that flap. So there is part of that flap underneath this grid paper. It says, "Make today amazing," with pretty little jewels. Then down here, more writing paper. This is a Mod Podged butterfly from a napkin. I just really liked that one. That color just, I don't know, it popped to me. I think they're fun, and they give the paper a little something extra without just a stamp or something heavy for embellishment, because this book is already quite heavy as it is, and I wanted to find other ways to lighten it up. Plus, I just wanted to, try my hand at certain different things. So more pattern paper, and then in here there is a tuck spot right here. I've created a little tuck spot, and the tuck spot actually has this discover on it, but you can flip it up so you can write on it. And then a tag. Whoops. Pattern paper, both sides believe. Double-sided pattern paper. I thought that looked really cute. More edge punching for the paper. And then another patterned paper. Like I said, lots of flowers, bright colors, very happy. Don't look back. Now this was going to be a journaling card, but I kind of just liked the look of making that into a tuck spot. And then this journaling card underneath. And I have stamped flourishes onto there. And then this little butterfly, he's an add-on. He actually came off of a birthday card. I cut him out and pasted him right there. I just liked him. If you save your birthday cards, you wouldn't be so, you'd be so surprised at how much ephemera you can get or how much embellishment you can get from them. Corner punched. And more counting paper. Now this one is an envelope, and it's a birthday card envelope. You can't see all of it, but there's a hummingbird and a little butterfly there and a pretty flower motif here. I've used the top edge here as a tuck spot. That's, the envelope closure where it would normally close. And this envelope was just too pretty to pass up, so I had to use it. And I've created these tags, or tickets, tickets. Whoops, we got it upside down for you. This says notes, love. It's got some little stamps. And it's all this patterned paper, real pretty patterned paper. And it has a lot of watercolor washing effect to it, to that patterned paper. And then this I figured she could journal on. It's got a dragonfly there. And then we've got this tag here that has a dragonfly that kind of matches it. So I went ahead and stuck that right into the little slot for the envelope. More patterned paper with the edge punching. And then this is again another napkin Mod Podge onto the page just to give the page some effect. More journaling space and patterned paper again. Now those of you who are very clever will notice that I did this upside down. That's my bad, and luckily it went to my mom and not to a very critical person. I did not, in all honesty, pay attention to that when I was putting it together. So, yes, it ended up upside down. And the flower ended up right side up. So, that's a Mod Podge flower in there, but the pattern paper is a little upside down. But, I mean, there's still writing. I mean, you're still able to write on it and stuff like that. If you're, again, she's my mother. She's not that critical. So, anyway, that was big whoops. But anyway, some more journaling paper on the accounting paper. Another journaling card. And I was really liking using these because that gave her lots of space to put some ideas, some notes, maybe things that happened that day. The center of the signature is this envelope. Now, sometimes I'll make my envelopes to where there's one side larger than the other. And in this case, I made them even. And then on the inside of the little envelope, that way all of the stitching is enclosed, I put this paper here. This is another sheet of dyed paper, and I was toying with this, this ability here. And so I've used the napkin, and I've kind of gone around it, and it has this home sweet home. Home is where your story begins. So I've done the dyeing on this paper and then the Mod Podge, so there's a lot of journaling room, and I just kind of shoved that down into this big old pocket here. So this pocket gives her a lot of room to stick either extra ephemera she finds along the way or whatever, pictures, you never know, anything. And then there is a little pocket tuck space back here too. More paper for writing, another Mod Podge flower, and then a Martha Stewart stamp across. This side I created a belly band, and I added these three little, I really loved this paper, and it was a trim piece on a pad block. And then these little butterflies were actually, they're a border piece, and I cut a portion out and everything, stuck that on there. And behind it we've added this card. So sometimes when you get these pattern paper, and this is a part of that one that I showed you that was upside down, but when you get these pattern papers, they'll have these little pieces into them and it doesn't look right. But I thought that looked kind of cool. So, happy little moments. And then on the back, some butterflies. Tuck that back in. Some more lace trim. On this side, you can't really tell that it's not the right direction. And I added a Mod Podge butterfly there. More Mod Podging with the napkin. And pattern paper. And here's the back of that envelope. And you can see the hummingbird's wings and the little butterfly a little. And then more flower. That is, of course, another area to tuck in. And then I did not add anything to that area. This side has the bird and the little dragonflies and everything. And that's why I picked this eyelash trim out, which I'm going to pull this little guy. So this eyelash trim is very multicolored, florally. It really pops. And then the back with the little flourish at the bottom is a tag that I just tucked right in here. And if you see, I inked the edges with a pink because the whole tag is more blue, and then I went in the back with pink just to give it that extra pop. I'm sorry if you can hear my dog. He's taken it upon himself to be the dominant provider for the household for all protection purposes. And in reality, all that means is that the poor parking lot worth of moviegoers behind us, because we have an AMC movie theater behind us, has somebody barking at them constantly. It's a little distracting. Sorry. Okay, so here we have Mod Podge napkin again on the back of a patterned paper in that gold flourish. I just loved that. I just had to add that. Another one of these altered paper clips, and here's the other piece of, or another piece of that paper with a divide on it. Have courage and be kind, with the little dove. Now and this one says sparkle here. She does like I can do things like prayer journal, stuff in here for her. She does really like that as well. So I didn't want to add too much, but I did add a little. Again, here you have the Eiffel Tower. It's a Mod Podge with the butterfly. And more patterned paper. Okay, so this is actually also part of a birthday card. And now in this instance, I did not, okay, if you can see that it's kind of shimmering, I'm going to see if I can get that effect for you a little bit better here. Well, anyway, you can see the shimmer when I move the page. What this is I took the birthday card, and I because it does have gold leafing and everything, and in some areas, and I copied it, because I didn't want to destroy that particular one, and I wasn't sure of how I wanted to use it. So I copied it, cut out the parts I wanted out so that it has like this open edge here. God bless you and keep you. Now then I went around each of the little black lines here with a glitter pen. It's just a Jelly Roll clear glitter pen, but it gave it that glittery, glossy effect. Sorry. Embellished effect. I don't know if you can see the butterfly is also glittered, but when you look at it directly on, it's not. And then behind that, of course, it's a tuck spot so you can have tags. I do have this double-sided tag here, my Hermalinda tag. If you wonder what that's about, a lot of times on this channel that I'm on, the Junk Journal Junkies, it's a Facebook page group, and she's there, and she's also a YouTuber here, and she's one of my biggest inspirations for initial junk journaling. She does a lot of prayer journals. Her name is Hermalinda Z Augliar. I will put her name in the description on this so that you have that as well. But check her out. She's amazing. I think she's probably my favorite, especially her older work, but it's not all prayer journal, but now she's into the prayer journals and she does those almost exclusively. They are amazing. I just love them. So if you like that kind of thing, if you like prayer journals, I would recommend her big time. Here, this is more pattern paper, and it has its own glitter effect to it with a butterfly. Another butterfly Mod Podge. And then I used a little leftover pattern paper from that first page of our signature as the tuck spot here. And then I created a secondary tuck spot behind it. The secondary tuck spot says Bliss. And I have these 3 little minis. So this one is a milk jug die punch, and it says love. And then I've got these 2 tags and a little what do you call that, crown, sorry. And then on this side just a little flourish. So these are the 3 minis, and they just tuck right back here. And then on this one is I've included a bigger one, and it's just got a little flourish at the bottom. So lots of room again for journaling. Lots of room for fun. Oops, sorry. 2 pages. So this page here is a pattern paper again with the flower and more journaling pages. I do ink around the edges of all my pages. So if you see a bluish tint or a pinkish tint, that's what's going on here. You used a lot of blues and pinks. So that completes the first signature, and on the back I did kind of Mod Podge a little flower with a what do you call him? He's a hummingbird. And then on this page here, this is the start of our second signature, and I really loved this pattern paper as well. So I went through that one, and then I've got some I'm sorry, I made up a couple of tags from the leftover pattern paper with a little butterfly in the center, tucked onto a paper clip that's embellished on this side. Whoops, pulling my whole page down here. Okay, so we've got create, and then again, this one, if you'll remember, is part of a card. This is actually the back part of the card, and I went ahead and cut that out. And inside of it, we've got a stamp, Mod Podge rose onto the back of this, more journaling pages with a Mod Podged, I'm not positive what that flower is. So anyway, I really liked it. It just kind of popped the page out a little. Another one of those really pretty envelopes. Now the envelope itself was very pretty, and there was a card that came with it. And so I cut this piece off of the card to create a tuck spot here. Oops, I didn't mean to bump my camera. And then these are pattern papered. So this, through this section, so that other section was blues and pinks. Through this section, you're going to see more pinks and purples. And so pattern paper and the cute little stamps on the back. And they just tuck right here. And then inside, of course, there is this tag, Hello Sunshine. And I continuously use the same papers throughout the book for pattern papers and things like that, just to give it, you know what, I'm having trouble. Here we go. This side I punched out a little notch, and it slides right on in there. And this says kindness. Of course, this is a little tuck spot as well. More of a pinky purpley pattern paper page. Okay, this again is another one of those cards, the greeting cards that I used, and I just created a little tuck spot with it. What I had done again is I copied the greeting card, cut out the part I wanted, and then went around the black edges with my glitter pen. Tag with an embellishment, or flourish rather. Tucks right up behind there, so will anything else, but it just kind of gives it a little 3D effect. A little pretty. Punched paper, or punched edge journaling page. And then this side, like I said, the other side was blue, this side's more pinks and purples, so I put pink washi tape on all the regular pages to sturdy up their little edges for sewing in. this is more pattern paper, and then on this side you'll see this is a fold out, and it's actually, let me see, I'm gonna have to move this over a bit. It's actually a double fold. So it folds out like that, and it folds back in. So it creates a tuck spot behind it if you wanted. But I also did add this, and this is actually from the card itself. I cut that piece out of another one of our cards. And behind that you're going to find these tickets tucked in. Or you could tuck anything you wanted into it. And they say live, laugh, love, and a little crown on the end for the last one. There's a little butterfly stamp there, a dove there. Just tucked right in behind them. Mod Podge butterfly on journaling paper. More journaling paper. This side is patterned paper with a little bit of Mod Podging on it. And it says Paris there with the flowers. We've got a tuck spot here. Punched edge. This again is, you can see the gold in that. This is another card. This is actually that card that has the that had the little piece, the green piece that I added to the envelope, and I've created a little tuck spot with this particular piece of the card. I really did like the greeting card look. Oh, also, this flower is going to be way too long. I cut it off. You can't hardly see that. Here, I'll try to raise this up and see if I can get it into focus. Anyway, that little top flower, I cut it off and then I brought it down and kind of connected it with a stem. So there's a little raised flower here, which gave it another 3D effect. Mini tag with a little butterfly behind it, tucked in. Oops. Let's see, let's tuck it in right there. And then behind this tuck spot is another piece of dyed paper. This one's dyed yellow, kind of like a sunny yellow with the, and then there is shimmer in each of these dyed papers, so if you're seeing that shimmer, that's what's going on there. And I Mod Podged onto this napkin, and it's got flowers and butterflies and little hummingbird, so it's a very pretty piece. Whoops. And it was kind of bright and befitting of this page, so that is tucked right up under here, like so. This, I think it was going to be at one point, I was going to do a pocket, but this just came out better like that. Journaling page, patterned paper, and behind the patterned paper there's this tuck spot, inspire. Now what I had done, if you're wondering why these all look very similar, and they have that lace behind them and the patterned paper, and right, you know, there's book paper back there and everything, recycled book paper, upcycled, whatever. I did a snippet roll. So the snippet roll is throughout this book, and that's on the, it's on the, oh, what do you call those? The ultra paper clips. It's on like the little tuck spots, embellishments, but it kind of gave a cohesion to the book that wasn't, that wouldn't have been there if I had done just separate ones altogether. So I did the snippet roll, and it created a very realistically very pretty book. Tuck spot that actually flips up for journaling. A large tag for journaling with a little frog at the bottom, because everybody needs a happy little frog to bring in their day, or to brighten their day. This is actually from a patterned paper. You know that K & Company paper? If you're not familiar with it, anyway, they make some of the most beautiful papers, and you can't really get them as much now, but I had this, and it was it's an older piece, and I've have a lot of them. This is just, I cut out, it's a lilac, and I cut it out, and I only glued the edge down, so it's a tuck spot, creates a tuck spot for these little minis. I did a lot of these little minis. My mom gets a kick out of them, and I think they're real pretty, so added the little minis for her with their little flourishy, flowery embellishments on the back. Mod Podge napkin here. And this way my tuck spots could also be on the thin paper as well. It was just kind of neat looking. This side here is a patterned paper with another one of those cards, journaling cards. You are magical, with the moon in the back. patterned paper under one of those embellished paper clips. As I said, I use the snippet roll to decorate most of my embellishments. This page again, there's my embellished paper clip. It says Dream, and it's part of that snippet roll again. And tucked up behind it is another one of those another one of those, what do you call those things? I sewed it together so it's a pad of paper, journaling paper, and over the top of it, I actually, on this one, I put washi tape so that it had kind of a pretty edge. I think I was experimenting as the whole book went along, so some pages or some things will have a little bit more embellishment than others. I just really wanted to kind of go all out, make her something real bright and pretty. And then we've got the flower and butterfly Mod Podge napkin here. Pattern paper with a lace trim. This is all journaling space. This is that accounting paper with a Mod Podge napkin. Again, the center of the signature is a, what do you call it? It's a pocket, sorry. And this is tucked behind for journaling. It's a little rose. And then the center has this. That's it. See, if you can see down in there, that's where it hides all my ties and stuff for the stitching, for the binding of the book. And this is, again, a dyed piece of paper with Mod Podge napkin on it. So it's just a pretty journaling page, journaling napkin. And I have folded it all wonky, so there we go. And it slides right on in there. The back side here, I had this butterfly, and he's like plasticky, and he's just, see-through and everything. He's just neat, right? So what I did was on the back of her, of these little guys, these guys are the Brad backs. I bent that one around and I punched a hole in his wing, and he's just kind of hanging out. He's an extra. He could be used as a tuck spot or whatever, but he's just kind of an embellishment. Fun. And then tuck spot there, Mod Podge napkin, and that is 2 pages of journaling. And then here you'll see we have a corner tuck with the this butterfly is off of a he's off of a card, but he's a copy. And then I went around and traced edging on him with that glitter pen. If you flip this up, this becomes a journaling flip spot. And then this here is just patterned paper that created a tuck spot. So anything can be tucked back behind here as well. And this is, again, another little milk jug, and I just tucked it right there in case she has extra stuff. So there's not something behind everything in this book because it was already chunky, as you saw. It's like a big blabbermouth book, and I didn't want to create too much. But she can tuck and overload it all she wants to her heart's desire. Again, large scale Mod Podge napkin onto the back of a patterned paper. And we've got 2 more journaling pages, one with the Mod Podge butterfly. This side is, this is an envelope that I got that was from a birthday card. Obviously it says to and all that. Here, I'm going to pull this away so you can see how really pretty that envelope was. So pretty I couldn't even get myself to bend it and destroy it or anything. I thought somebody's going to love that. And then when I saw this book and the way it was turning out, I knew I had to include it. So I've actually used it to create its own little tuck spot. So on this page, yes, you could tuck stuff behind it. You can put stuff in it. And it folds over onto the next page so that its envelope closure creates a tuck spot with this paper clip, this embellished paper clip, believe. And it creates that tuck spot right there. Amazing harmony. And then little flowers across the bottom, because of course little flowers are just fun. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and tuck this back up in here, but I'm going to show you something. Now, this was a tag that was on this side. And this is bicycle built for two. And if you slide this off and you slide this out, and of course that was the tuck spot from the other side, then you can open this card, and I've reinforced it here just to give it a little extra. Plus also I was trying to go over its sticky spot so that no matter what, the sticky spot doesn't decide to come back and sneak its way up on us. Very large journaling card in here, Laugh More. And this is actually a sticker. It's a butterfly sticker that I had, and it was just too pretty to pass up. Then this side here is all purple, ready to go for journaling. And all I did was I slid it down right there. And then this is actually a very pretty patterned paper that I put it on the back of. And it just sits right in there. And the ultra paper clip goes in there, creates its little tuck spot. Now, of course, you could use two tuck spots, tuck it there and tuck it right under the paper clip. You can use whatever you want. And they just slide up in there, and it's just, I mean, it's very convenient. Again, Mod Podge napkin on the journaling pages, back of patterned paper. This side, I created a sideways belly band, if you can see it. And I did do these pop-up sunflowers. I really liked the way that they looked on here. There is some lavender lace going down here just to give it a little extra effect. And then there's this, it was just a trim piece on a piece of paper that I had left over. And so I made into this little tuck spot on the edge. Love and Hope. And they tuck right in there. Journaling page. This side is another belly band. You can tuck anything you wanted there. And then this little dragonfly guy, he's from one of those cards. Ooh, I've rolled a piece of paper. That's not good. Sorry about that. So he's from one of those cards, and he's actually a copy. And I cut him out and went over his wings with some of that glitter pen. Patterned paper. The back of that envelope, I did put a little butterfly sticker up there. And then here is some more tags, or tickets, excuse me, on the back of patterned paper. Just tucked up in there. And then this side is the rest of that envelope with its tag in here. On this tag, I did add this flower sticker. It says, "Blessings to you," and then you open it up and there's room for journaling. Tucks right on in there. Oops. Ooh, that's not good. Sorry, ladies. Okay, so tucks right on in there. I've got this new setup for my camera, and I'm not sure I love it, so we'll see. On that corner, Mod Podge. Then we have, this is a idea that I kind of was toying with. It's the pattern paper, and I really wanted to use it somehow. So I created my own notepad with it and sewed it down to the page. There's plenty of plenty of journaling space there. And I was going to put it down like that, and then it just kind of became its own little beast, and so that's kind of how I did it. It came out really good. This is the back of that pattern paper for the first, or for the second, the second signature. There's an envelope attached to the back of this cover. Time is a great storyteller. And this is that pattern paper, and this part of it I wanted to make sure was on the back page because I just thought that was kind of a great way to end the book. These are just made buttons, and then that little butterfly is put on there, then around like this, and it opens up, and we have her, and I was just playing around with her, and I liked her, and she comes out as a great little little girl to finish the book off with. So she's a tag, or I mean a journaling card that I finished the book off with. And that is the book that I made for my mom. So, it wasn't quite a Mother's Day thing. It was a little before, but, I mean, I could have saved it for it, but I get too excited with my projects, and of course, all right, I'm having issues with that. I get too excited, so of course I just wanted to, give it to her early. Well, anyway, stay tuned for the next one, and until next time, keep on crafting. But thanks, bye.